Twisted people? It's your girl here, Chauncey K Robinson, aka Twisted CKR.
Each time Evolver is defeated, he evolves up to the next level.
Bullseye.
Evolver hates to lose.
Infiltrate. Attack. Need more power.
Where he gets smarter, quicker, and harder to beat.
Now.
Every night, I dream the same dream. And then... the nightmare begins.
Your identities are not something to be feared, but something to be welcomed.
This Organized Chaos podcast is brought to you by JEMS Art Studio. This podcast is also brought to you by listeners like you. Thank you.
Hello, and welcome to another Organized Chaos podcast. My name is Bobby Quarters, and we got quite a bit for on the docket today. Really quickly, Bob, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How you doing,
Not
Bobby?
so bad. Happy we're moving into a new week. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Happy last week is behind us.
No. Oh God, last week. Yeah.
Yes.
That was interesting.
But
yeah, you know.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you know, this week we got a great podcast. We had the single greatest podcast ever, one might say.
100% error-free.
Yes. Well, we got a guest.
Yes.
Chauncey K Robinson of the YouTube channel. Well, your YouTube channel is just your name, but you call it Twisted CKR?
Yeah, because I mainly focus on horror in that one, on that YouTube.
Nice.
Yeah, Bobby is the huge
yes,
horror fan.
I
am. I enjoy horror as well, but yeah, he's more the junkie.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes.
So, Freddie, Michael, or Jason?
Oh, Jason, for sure. Although Freddie used to be in my top, but I don't know. I think as I got older, I just started to appreciate the Friday the 13th franchise a lot more for some reason.
I'll say over quarantine in 2020, I kind of grew to appreciate that series a little bit more than I had previously. And similar to you, like I loved Freddy growing up, but for me, Michael. Yeah.
I got issues with that franchise.
Oh.
I got so many issues with that franchise.
I have issues with all three of them, but
it's far from perfect as a series.
No, yeah.
I know that, and I acknowledge all of its faults. And one thing that I love that is kind of unpopular with the fandom is the Thorn trilogy. I think that was something good, and they should have dove a little bit more into it. Maybe not overproduce 6, but
it's.
Well, I don't know. I thought Ant-Man beating up Michael really put a nice conclusion to it.
It did. That was. I mean, he looks the same. It's.
He does.
I was about to say, no, that's not what he looks like. That's not. What
he may be a vampire.
But yes, obviously we have Chauncey. We're gonna do a little creator spotlight with Chauncey.
Yes.
And then we're going to talk about the movie everyone has been talking about right now. It's been all over the internet. I'm, of course, talking about Evolver.
From 1995.
The killer robot movie from 1995.
Fun fact.
And
Evolver was voiced by none other than Frank Gallagher himself.
I saw that.
Oh, I did not know
I
that.
was like, when I looked at it, I was like, oh my God, that's him?
Yeah. Because I noticed that in the opening credits, and I was like, WH... No.
Right?
No. Holy crap, it is. But yes, go ahead, Bob. Sorry.
We got some more of the show. Time permitting. We're stressing time permitting. We may not have time for this. Maybe we'll talk about Doctor Strange 2 and Moon Knight. Maybe.
Yeah.
But we all know that the fans want Evolver.
Yeah.
So we're gonna make sure to talk. But yeah, let's go ahead and head into introducing Chauncey here. Yes. Chauncey, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm a full-time journalist and film and TV critic. I'm also leaning towards film, but I like TV too. I have my issues with the whole industry of TV, just the whole capitalist thing. But I am mainly a film critic and a journalist. I am originally from Newark, New Jersey. I'm a Jersey girl through and through. People usually notice that about me, especially here in California after a few minutes in conversation, depending if I let my accent come out or not. I've traveled a bit though. When I graduated, I went to Venezuela for a little bit around the time of I went to a World Youth Festival there, and then I ended up on the West Coast, and ended up at San Francisco State University. That's where, because I took a few years off because I wasn't sure I wanted to go straight into college. I was just feeling so like, I need to, explore life or something. Yeah. Get out of Jersey. So I ended up at SF State. I tried to major in clinical science. It didn't work. I ended up going back into theater, and somehow it worked out that I'm employed. But I ended up doing theater and communications. And then right after that, I ended up getting offered actually a part-time position for social media at People's World, which is a successor of The Daily Worker, which is going The Daily Worker came out it's going to be 100 years soon. And it was a publication. The Daily Worker was a publication that was founded by all types of people within the labor movement, socialists, communists. I know that's a 4-letter word for some people, but leftists, things like that.
Not me.
Labor. I know for some people though, labor leaders and things like that. And it's kind of, we've stayed within that vein by, and then the People's World, when the name changed or whatever, the People's World is now in the succession of that. And, I just love working for a free press, independent journalism. It's one of those things where I think it's really important to me to advocate. When I think of the kind of journalism that I do advocacy journalism. I think when I'm highlighting something, it's in a way of how I think this might enrich someone's existence or someone's life or something they might need to know. And I've been incorporating that with my film reviews, which, I got a degree in theater, so I wanted to kind of make it, because I love stories. And so, when I do film reviews, I very much try to just figure out, for one, if someone should spend their money on it, because times are tough and tickets are going up higher every time, and see what the context and things people can get out of it. So I try not to have my film review just be like, oh, I like that car that person drove or something like that, but more like, what's the messaging or whatever. But I'm also not someone who says the color of this represents the spine of so man. I don't try to get that deep with it. Just in a way that it's, because I think everything can be political. So it's even the content that we take in, so I think it's important for people who are of that mind of progressive and things like that to dissect sometimes propaganda and things like that get thrown at us, the status quo that gets thrown at us in movies and television, and be like, oh, okay, maybe that isn't what you might want to take in, or maybe just notice that this might be pushing a certain kind of rhetoric, things like that. So that's kind of my take when I do reviews. But I'm a big horror fan. I love horror. That's my jam. I think it's because I've always thought that genre is such a great way of reflecting society through ways that people could be taking in a monster story and they don't even realize they're taking in an allegory about life or something, but it's through those symbolisms that it's able to kind of, especially when a lot of the censorship and things happen, they got to kind of slip it through a lot more in horror, so there's so many John Carpenter, there's just so many, there's such a history.
100% yes.
Yes, there's such a history of that there. So I love horror for that. I mean, I like horror because it's horror and it's cool, but I also love it because of its legacy. Because I know, recently in the last few years, there's been this whole thing of elevated horror. And I'm like, it's always been elevated. What are you talking about?
You're talking about, right? Yeah, I mean, to me, like, you know, the mythical monster from the woods or whatever, like that's scary. That's kind of creepy, you know, because it's the unknown. But there's nothing creepier than just a guy with a knife.
Right?
Just
my
like,
gosh.
To quote John himself, there is nothing creepier than that thought. Just like that alone is just terrifying for me, and that's what I love horror. But yeah, you're right with how elevated horror, how people have been like trying to talk about new, but horror has always kind of had that element to it, even I think dating back to Hitchcock and probably even further then. Yeah.
No, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
And I guess that's one of the things I try to do when I review like some things and being like, oh yeah, this is cool, but you know, this John Carpenter movie was really cool too. And when he did They Live, it was an F you to Reagan. Did you know that? And things like that. So you know, that's kind of my jam. And yeah, I really, you know, in terms of a professional sense, I just really like, you know, diving into stories and things. I love cats. I have 3 of them. One of them will probably come across at some point here. And yeah, it's kind of, you know, overall, I guess.
Well, you brought up messages in movies and horror movies in particular, and that's totally my jam. I love like dissecting, like figuring out what the hidden message is in a lot of these movies. What are they trying to say? Like, what are some of your favorites that do that? I mean, they all do that to a degree, but my
faves? There's so many. Well, like I know I keep mentioning John Carpenter, but that's just because I love like In the Mouth of Madness is one of my faves. Like really just one of my faves. And
very underrated.
Yes, it is. I keep telling people to look at it because sometimes I'm like, have you seen it? They're like, I haven't seen it. I'm like, you haven't seen this movie? You have to see this movie. I just really love that one. I really enjoy They Live. That's one of my faves as well. Just dealing with the question of poverty, the question of the lie of the trickle down economy, things like that. That sort of movie. You know, it's not just horror. You know, I recently did a story about a Charlie Chaplin film called The Great Dictator, which really just, I mean, has a phenomenal speech. And when you think of the fact that this came out when it did, and he's talking the way he's talking in this and dealing with the themes that he's dealing with, you realize, you know, this isn't something new, the things that we deal with. It's been there, and there have been people who are, you know, who have been challenging those statuses. Because sometimes when we think of stories, they're like, oh, that movie, you know, it's okay, it's like that because that was the times. But then it's like, well, what about that movie that came out around that same time? So can we just dismiss some of the, you know, things they were coming out with? Because if that person knew, why didn't that person know? Things like that. So, you know, Charlie Chaplin, I recently revisited because it was the 100-year anniversary of the Nosferatu film. That became one of my faves. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is actually one of my faves. And it's always funny to me when someone says, oh, I did this in the vein of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, their movie or something. And it's like usually just straight up just violence. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know if you saw the undertones of the Texas Chainsaw Man. I don't know if you don't want to be pretentious and be like, I don't think you got it. But
you wouldn't be referring to Rob Zombie by chance.
I'm not, you know, I will not go on record.
No, Rob Zombie's a very, very deep filmmaker.
Yeah, Kubrick-esque, I dare say.
Sure, yeah.
I would neither confirm nor deny. But, yeah, so it's kind of like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of my faves as well. As someone who has visited, you know, just some of the themes that were going on during that time, because I've, you know, been to various places and things and just looking at like the meat packing and sure when industry leaves a place, what happens to the people afterwards, things like that. And it's just one of my faves for all the undertones that's there. And it's just a fun movie, but for all the undertones that are there, I really appreciate that film. So that's some of my faves. Yeah.
Okay. So you had said Texas Massacre is your favorite. How would you feel about, I know this is probably a silly question since it's not as predominant, but how do you feel about the remakes that have been coming out or the requel or continuing phases of horror?
Oh, I really enjoyed it. I know that was a polarizing thing, especially the one that recently came out on Netflix. I thought it, you know, I mean, I thought its messaging was a little muffled, just like what the commentary it was trying to make necessarily.
The exact direction they wanted to go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I actually enjoyed it. When I did
too.
Yeah, when I honestly, and I don't know, this might ruffle your feathers, because when I did it, when I did a review of it, I actually compared it. I said, anyone seeking retribution for how bad Halloween Kills was, you'd probably like Texas Chainsaw Massacre the new one, because I was so disappointed with Halloween Kills, because I was like, wait a minute, how do you go from that 2018 film to this? What happened? So
that one was a bit of a mess, but for it continuing and being a bridging story, I think it served its purpose. Because I think clearly the big meteor hit's going to be in the final one. Yeah, so I figured they're saving like their best stuff for that. This just kind of had to, I guess, bridge story. That's why we had all the fodder. I mean, other legacy characters.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they came and they went, a lot of them. I was like, why?
I was surprised how quickly the nurse went, actually. I was like, oh, wow, shit, okay.
And I think
she had more...
That's what I fear when it comes to, like, even with Scream. Like, oh my gosh, Wes Craven is one of my faves as well. And I always, I've said before that I felt like New Nightmare was like when he really started was doing this meta kind of thing, like the whole thing of of just like taking it outside and what does it mean in the real world of horror. And I don't think a lot of people appreciated it. And then he got to do that with Scream. That a few years later he got to do the meta horror, and it was taken in a little bit. It was taken in a lot better. But he had already. I feel like he had already done that with New Nightmare, but people weren't trying to hear it at that time. But Scream. And then. Go ahead.
New Nightmare is something I really enjoyed. That was probably the first Freddy Krueger movie I saw, and I remember I was probably in middle school, and I saw it on TNT, and like even on TNT, I was like terrified. So like when I actually got my own copy of it, like that was great. And I mean, I think I bought like one of the collections that had all of them up to New Nightmare at that point. And and then I think I watched them all in one night.
Oh, it's totally a bingeable franchise. I have all of it on DVD too. The whole franchise. It's,
4 and 5 just blends. I get those two mixed up because 4 and 5 could be the same movie as far as I know.
Yeah, they really could. Like, I bring up story points, and I don't know about if it's 4 or 5. It's
like and there's like a death with a comic book. And a waterbed, and I think that's 4. Yeah, there's a junkyard.
Yes, that's 3.
Yeah.
That is 3.
6, right? The video game.
The video game was Freddy's Dead.
Yes, that also
had so many times. Like if you name one, I'd be like, it's that one. This is the one right here.
That one.
This is
all right. So we are going to be doing Freddy trivia.
Freddy grounds real quickly. So so you had mentioned that Texas Chainsaw is your favorite of the franchise. If you had to pick one that wasn't either Freddy, Michael, Jason, or Leatherface, what would it be?
In terms of horror?
Yes. Or I guess slasher horror in that, or like the killer ones. Yeah.
Oh, killer ones. It's all, you get that question, you're like, man, I know something. I know something, but it's like, it's not, because those are always so in that, like, I'm looking at my picture of Freddy right here. And it's like, you're just surrounding me. What are some more independent ones? I'd have to think about that in terms of ones that, like, aren't, like, the main. I mean, I guess Wishmaster doesn't count because he's a monster. Slasher. I liked what was it? I think it was like Bloody Valentine.
Okay, yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah.
There's this one that Jamie Lee Curtis does.
Was it Prom Night?
Yes.
Yes, that's one of my favorites. That is one of my favorite horror movies of all time.
Yes,
and I
pretty good.
Yeah, and I will absolutely trash the remake at any chance I can.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It was bad. It was bad. But but I would say if I didn't have to pick in that top 4, probably Leprechaun.
Oh, well, Leprechaun's great,
Yeah.
but he kind of, they went off the deep end. I mean,
yes.
Leprechaun in the Hood, then Return to the Hood. I'm like, hey, if it works.
Well, I mean, Leprechaun in Space was pretty much Aliens.
I didn't actually catch that one. That was the one I didn't watch yet, out of all of them, funny enough.
Oh, sorry, spoiler. It's pretty much Aliens.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much Aliens.
And you know what's funny is, like, people made fun of, like, Leprechaun in Space, but one of my fave Friday the 13th is actually Jason X. I will defend Jason X on how smart I think that script was.
No, I think my favorite part is when they took him into, like, pretty much like the holodeck.
Yes.
Yeah, like
Yes.
I lose it every time of that scene, and I've watched with friends going like, dude, this is stupid. I go, that's the point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It got it. I was like, you got to really appreciate what they're trying to, like, say here with this movie.
Have you watched any of the new Chucky series that's on Sci-Fi?
I did. I actually did a weekly kind of live thing with some of the followers for that series, and I really enjoyed it. You know, and I guess that it would make sense because the person behind it was the person that originated Chucky. And, you know, I just think they really just know the essence of this character. I did not care for, as much as I like Mark Hamill's voice, I did not care for the recent, well, not so recent now, but like that movie that they did, Child's Play, and it was, I couldn't finish it. And not just because it was so bad, because they made me really feel sorry for the Chucky doll. And I was like, maybe I just always feel sorry for electronics, which I guess we'll talk about with Evolver. But like, I'm just like, there's just something about it where I'm just like, I don't think he's the bad guy in this. I think humans are. So like, I couldn't finish it because I'm like, I can't really... You know, I couldn't get around it, but with Chucky, with the Sci-Fi one, I was like, this is top. I mean, it kept the level of the horror that we know him for in the slasher, but it also had the moments of levity that were really funny, to points where you're like, should I be laughing at this? This is pretty funny. Like, you know, so I really like that series.
Okay. Yeah, I've caught it too, and I was blown away, but that's also probably another one that I've been a fan of that series too.
Yes. Yeah. Chucky is another solid one.
And
it's just a great character.
Oh yeah. And Brad Dourif just brings that voice to life so much.
Mm-hmm.
That's another terrific actor. Sorry, Bob.
In case you're wondering which franchise was the correct answer, it was Hellraiser.
Oh. I've only loved the first one for what it was going for.
Yeah, it's true. The first one's really good. After that,
Phantasm would have also been accepted.
Oh my gosh, Phantasm! That was the one I actually saw for the first time during the pandemic or whatever. Okay. And I had never seen Phantasm before, and I was like, this movie is a trip. I was like, what really happened? And I'm the kind of person, when I watch a movie, I end up always just looking ahead at the rest of the franchise just to, like, look what happened to characters and stuff. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, is it fantasy? Is it a fantasy? Is it real? Like, what is this?
Somebody explain this.
Yeah, I was like, they're having fun though, so I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Phantasm, for the first time in the last year, and I was like, wow, this is actually pretty good.
I saw that for the first time probably about 3 years ago when I finally broke and signed up for Shudder.
Oh, yeah. I go back and forth with Shudder. I sign up for a bit, and then I'm like, okay.
Joe Bob's on it. I'm loyal.
Okay.
That's how I saw horror when I was younger.
My father, he watches Ghoulie.
Okay.
He's a public access horror guy.
Yeah. We had one here in Ohio, in Columbus, but he didn't really do like a lot of it. Like he would sometimes show it, but mostly the show quickly turned out to just him doing weird and gross out stuff all over town.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he kind of had like mocks, like the Crow outfit, like makeup on. Yeah, his name was Damon Zex. Yeah. But when they did show horror, it was mostly Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's like, all right, cool. Romero.
Yeah, nothing wrong with Romero. The Crazies. That's Romero, right?
Yes, that is.
Yeah, that is an insane movie as well. I love that movie.
That's one I recommend to people who say like, "Oh, I really enjoyed Night and Day or like Dawn of the Dead." Oh, you should check out The Crazies. If you like Dawn of the Dead, watch The Crazies.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to actually look at YouTube and be like, "Oh yes, I want to jump into that mess"?
Well, I don't know. I just felt like, I like writing. Like, that's my jam. Because I feel like I can really dig into things with writing. But I also know that, there's conversations happening online. People like video. People like, faces and things. And I just thought, well, here's a way that I can dive into horror in a way that, that's a little bit more light. It doesn't have to be. I mean, when I first started, I was doing like 20-minute type, like long type reviews, and then algorithms and all this other stuff. And I was like, well, I guess I need to shorten this. But then, so I go back and forth. Like, I guess I jumped into it because I just thought it would be cool to engage with people in that kind of way. But I do get a little frustrated with it sometimes too. So I go back and forth.
The algorithm is evil.
It is.
I just
I
cannot figure out how to master
and
it.
I think that's my conundrum sometimes as someone who kind of for if I'm doing a story, like I did a whole story on Facebook and things like that. When I look at these tech industries and these tech companies and how they use content to make their billions and their millions and things like that. I have this conundrum where I'm like, you can't, you're not in a vacuum. You want to get stuff out, but you also realize it's really just part of a lot of time their way to sell advertisement. It's like, well, who's the product here? Me, the people who watch me, and sometimes I just feel like I don't want to play the game with them. But so I just started doing videos I liked. That's what I started doing. I was just like, I'm not going to try to do a whole thing where it's like, oh, if you do this for this, you'll get more views. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do what I like. And if people like that, and I'll promo it, and that's where we're going. Because, trying to play that whole thing with their algorithm, you don't control their algorithm. So it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And they're very not transparent.
Yeah, no, I think you've pretty much hit the nail on the head on how to properly handle YouTube, because it's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Well, where can people find you?
Oh, well, I'm on People's World. I'm on the editorial board of People's World as well as being a film critic and journalist there. So peoplesworld.org. If you want to read some of the stuff that I write. You can also find me on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm a Rotten Tomatoes film critic. You can also find me out on the Cherry Picks, which is kind of like the answer to Rotten Tomatoes from a more female perspective. I'm an official Cherry Picks critic as well. You can find me on YouTube, Chauncey K Robinson / Twisted Woman, CKR. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram as well, but those are just more like rando thoughts and stuff. So, but if you want to see my content, it's those places.
Mm-hmm. I was about to say, I think that's all Twitter is for everybody.
I don't know. Some people, they do that thing where they gather up rage to then pitch a byline. And be like, look at all these people mad at this thing. Let me write an article about it and give me $600. I'm like, do you, journalist?
Oh, admittedly, the most I've ever used Twitter for was getting blocked by certain members of the House.
Well, that's
well. There you go.
Yeah. Apparently, one of them doesn't particularly like being called spineless or a coward.
Which one?
Ted Cruz.
I knew it. I was like,
what was it? Well, I also said worm. I also called him a worm too. So.
And he blocked you. Yeah.
Dude, that is so rude to worms.
I know. Worms have dignity. I know.
Right?
I know.
God. It's just,
but yeah.
No, I was just saying, that's the beautiful thing about social media and stuff, it can be a great place because it has allowed a democratization of like communication to a certain degree, because before it there were just voices that weren't heard unless you like owned a television station, unless you ran a publication and things like that. So now it's, you know, it's there's such a plus with that, but then comes the negatives of who controls it and what they want to control it for. I did a whole story about Elon Musk and just like, you know, what's the motivation of this, and just in terms of like, you know, it's such a great way to connect with people and build communities, but then it's that negative of like, but who controls how we get to communicate, you know? So.
Yeah. Well, to anybody listening, she has great stuff on YouTube. But also look up her articles on People's World. I don't know if there are other places, but she has great articles. I've read her Elon Musk article. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check out Chauncey.
Yeah.
But she will stick around with us for a little bit longer because we have to talk about the biggest movie of the podcast.
Yes.
Everybody's gonna be buzzed about this one. We are, of course, talking about Evolver.
The blockbuster store breaking. Not actual blockbuster,
Yes.
just blockbuster store breaking.
Yes.
So
the big movie starring Ethan Randall.
Yeah, this is one that we have on as a segment on our show called Appreciating Great Trash. We haven't had a submission to it in quite a while, so this is the first welcome back edition.
It might be a couple months till we get another one with summer season coming.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah. So we're wanted to wheel this one in there.
Yep. Get in there while it can.
Yeah. All right. So this movie, I first saw this movie years ago on the Sci-Fi Channel as a kid, and it's always stuck with me. I don't know why. So the plot of it is there's this hacker, right? Or computer hacker as they describe him, but he's like a gamer who is like the super best at this VR game called Evolver. And he
worst VR ever, by the way.
for 95 it was pretty bad.
I remember watching VR Troopers and stuff. I was like, this is on the level.
Yeah. Oh man. So he I guess he won the highest score to win his own Evolver to take home with him. So the company gave him this, but before all of it, we see that this is pretty much a product that was designed to be a war machine.
Yeah, no, it's this is obviously Appreciating Great Trash. It's a cheesy movie. I like the beginning was a little rough, but it got to a point where eventually I'm kind of on board with how like with the dopiness. I'm just kind of okay. I'm there.
Yeah. I think it was Woody.
Chauncey, the audience for it, you know, like I went in completely blind at first because I was like, okay, kids, teenagers, okay, this is like some Disney after school. Then people started cussing and the guy died, and I was like, whoa. What?
Like quite heinously, and it's like, oh,
right. I was like, who is this movie for? Who is this marketed to?
I don't know.
At first, like I noticed the kills were fairly bloodless, and I was like, "Is this a PG-13?" And then, I noticed they're saying lots of F-bombs. I was like, "No, this isn't PG-13. Right? What are they doing?"
Well, I mean, I think they could probably getting away with like all the F-bombs or blood, and they opted for the robot could say the F-bombs. That'll be great. Yeah, let's do that.
I think that is one thing I noticed about this movie. I was like, I'm not a huge gore guy, but like this movie could definitely use more gore effects. Honestly, just have the robot go nuts.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe make it a little bigger.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I like the idea of this dopey, like I almost like the idea of the really bad looking robot that just wants to kill.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of a concept for horror that I could get behind. Like, it's plausible. It's like, all right, I'm here for this.
Yes.
But this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chauncey.
Oh no, go ahead. I was just saying, I originally got because one of my other favorite films is Short Circuit, Johnny Five.
Yeah.
And I immediately felt like I liked this robot because I don't know, there's something about robots, you know, Wall-E, all of them. Like, I just am automatically on the robot side first. And like, I liked his design because of the fact, like, oh, it's a toy, you know, and then he gets corrupted. But it was, I went back and forth because he was so, and then he started getting sassy in the movie, you know? Suddenly it was like, delete this. And I'm like, wow, what happened? Like, you were nice.
He was watching TV and he's like, I'll cut you, bitch. What?
Yeah.
Robot needs to stop watching TV.
Why were they randomly playing that show in the kitchen, though? Like, while they were eating?
Why is that TV facing, like, away from what I could tell, any chair or anything? It's, like, facing away from the table. Like, who is that TV facing? Like, why is it facing that direction? I was just like, who is there, like, a chair that they sit and watch the TV in the kitchen? Because it's on, like, the middle counter, it looked like. I was wondering that, too, when I saw that. I was like, what? Like, what is the TV?
And that station... I was just like, well, isn't there a little girl here anyway? Like, why is this playing at all? Like, oh, he's been watching too much cable, Mom. And I'm like, why are you watching these shows? Like, what's going on, Mom? But she was out dating a lot, I guess. I don't know. Shaming mothers, shaming single mothers.
Oh, how dare they have a life outside the family.
Seriously.
Oh, my God. Listen, you're either at home watching the kids or you're sitting at home waiting for the kids.
Exactly.
Right. That seems reasonable, right?
You never heard that kind of. You never heard that kind of flack from E.T.'s mom. She was hardly there and letting those kids gamble in the living room.
Now I have to rewatch that movie and figure out the placement of the TV because I don't remember noting that.
No, it was one of those like idiot notes that I just put like, why is that there? Why? And I ended up writing a paragraph about it. Like, why?
Who I really don't like this interior design.
It is just bothering me that much. I've been looking at Zillow too much. That's what it is.
Like, how dare they?
Yeah.
That TV is actually, it wasn't like, because in Poltergeist, there's a scene where she's watching the TV right there, too. But there's a stool there. So it makes more sense. So when I saw it, I'm like, where's the stool? There's no stool. This is silly. Why is the TV even on if they're eating dinner? You know, you just start noticing things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's well, when you watch, I notice whenever I watch these bad movies, you do start noticing those things, and you start pointing them out to yourself, and like just go question it, like, why is that there? Why make that choice? Why is that scene in there?
Because he had to see the television.
Yeah, there's one that me and my a friend of mine will refer to as like we reference the movie The Room and we call it the doggy scene. And whenever there's a movie, like, because there's no point for that doggy scene. So like, yeah, I know it gave the greatest sound clip ever. Hi, doggy.
Yeah,
but just we like see
it defines the character.
Yeah, who else in San Francisco looks like Johnny? Who else?
Yeah, exactly.
But whenever there's just like a scene that we feel is just kind of pointless that they could have just done differently by just framing the shot or just setting up to the next scene and the next placement or area where they're staging the scene, and we just call it like that's just the equivalent of the doggy scene. That was this movie's doggy scene.
Okay, noted. That was the doggy scene.
I think this whole movie has a lot of doggy scenes.
Yeah. Like I said, I like the idea of this like really dumb looking robot just having an urge to kill and just wanting to kill. That's when I found it to be the most fun. But yeah, it's like there's this middle section that I just kind of enjoy for just how dumb it is, and I just think the beginning and a little bit the end kind of drags for me.
Yeah,
but
the end it kind of did.
I mean, yeah,
a little. Like it did like the monster coming back thing. Like after they'd go to take it away, and then it just escapes.
Yeah, and then it's never quite dead at the end. But we'll get to that next week when we get to Evolver 2.
Is there Evolver? There's not an Evolver 2.
No.
I was like, they did a sequel to
The return of Q.
The return of Q.
Oh, jeez.
See, that's how I pitched it to him. Oh, Q's in it, man. Q from Star Trek. He's like your favorite character.
You didn't tell me.
Isn't he?
Yeah, no, not really, but Paul Dooley's in it too, and he's in Star Trek too, and you didn't even know that.
Yeah. Well, that was a surprise, man.
Yeah, sure,
right?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Q was the scientist dude. Yeah.
Wasn't he also in The Hand That Rocks the Cradle as the husband that shoots himself?
Oh shit!
I think he might have been. It's been.
That's
a while
why,
since I've
as
seen
soon
it,
as I saw him, like this guy, I know this guy's face. And he was, I think, the gynecologist who removed his glove before touching the woman. And then he loses his job. He shoots himself. And that's how she ends up being the babysitter for the woman. Because she was the wife. I think that was him.
Maybe. I know he was in Breaking Bad.
Oh, yeah. He's been all over.
Oh, yeah. No, there he is. John Delancey's in Hand That Rocks the Cradle. So, yes. I'm going to go ahead and say you are correct.
Yeah.
It's been like 20 years
but
since
I remember him being in Star Trek, too. Yeah. Because he's talking to Picard.
Oh, he was in Star Trek?
Yeah.
Were you going to say something, Bobby?
Oh,
it
no.
Seemed like you cut out there.
No.
Okay.
I mean, the concept behind this was great, and it did start out as, like you said, the robots. He was very innocent, playing the game, being very playful and fun, and then just slowly we found out he was just a war machine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I kind of wish they dove more into that end of the plot, just a little.
Yeah.
Because that part is like kind of interesting, but yeah, it kind of gets rocky near the middle and latter half of that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I would just say I kind of enjoyed it. I wish the ending just went more into it. Just go into how this robot is it just wants to kill.
Yeah.
And maybe make the robot cuter looking.
Well, I mean, I don't
make it look super innocent.
I don't know, man.
It just wants
that
to kill.
beast mode at the end was pretty intense. And I kind of forgot that he loaded steak knives into his gun too.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
I forgot about that.
Fortunately, he's not particularly great aim, but
yeah, I mean,
apparently he can hold a lot of power too to electrocute a whole pool.
Yeah, that's kind of one heck of a charge that thing has.
Yeah,
like why did he unplug him earlier if like the droid can just plug himself in?
Yeah, it's like okay.
I think that was just so he could remove the disc. I don't.
Yeah,
I'm surprised.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no! It reminded me of this toy from my childhood that was like a little like laser tag gun, and it kind of looked like him, but he was probably about like yay big. I remember seeing it, and I remember seeing that ad the first time I watched it as a kid, going and thinking, "Oh, that's a weird ad to have during this movie."
Get your own killer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are the thoughts of 8-year-old me watching it, because I'm just watching it going like, I remember seeing this on TV. Yeah. I don't remember that part, the first F-bomb. Don't remember that.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. If they say less F-bombs, this probably would have been a PG-13.
It probably would. Well, I don't know. Well, it was, no.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, there's nudity,
the
but
locker
that could have been cut out. Yeah, that locker room scene was
It could have been way
That felt like a leftover from...
Yeah, that was leftover from the 80s.
From like Revenge of the Nerds stuff.
Yeah.
Little sexual assault in your movie. Okay.
Yeah, like that's still when they were really casual with that in film.
Yeah.
Watching that, I was just like, oh, that's right. Oh, the 90s.
That's not creepy. That's not
right.
creepy.
Yeah, this part's a little cringe. I feel a little gross watching this part now.
Yeah. Oh no, all scenes are like that anymore. It's like, oh yeah.
How did that droid not get like caught when it rolled up on them after that? Because it rolled up like the opposite way they were waiting for it.
Well, that droid was super sneaky though. Super sneaky.
He cut through a laundry bag.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Uh-oh, I got to change my battery.
Well, anything we want to add to this?
Yeah, well, I liked how it subverted some, like, you know, I wasn't expecting for the main guy character from Can't Hardly Wait, because that's where I remember him from.
Me too.
I was like, this guy from Can't Hardly Wait. But I wasn't expecting for him not to be a pushover. Sometimes that's tends to be a thing. And they, I thought that was really interesting that they had him kind of being willing to fight the bully and stuff like that. And he wasn't just like the geek who gets pushed around. Like, they subverted that really quickly. You know, it was like, oh, this isn't the regular characters I'm used to in movies like this. So I actually, and the girl too, who actually was in a few things. One of them being, what was it? I Know What You Did Last Summer. She was the sister that got killed. And so, like,
oh, shit, she was.
Yeah.
Holy crap, you're right, she was.
And it was just really cool seeing these kind of characters. I'm like, okay, I mean, the best friend was skeezy, like we're usually expected in these kind of movies. I'm like, okay, he fits the mold. But everyone else was like, oh, that's a bit different. You know, the little girl, like they said, is 8 going on 32. You know, she actually doesn't hate her brother necessarily. She's just kind of chill about it. I was like, okay, I actually appreciated all of that.
She's kind of like running the household, cooking.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't think about that.
Mom's going on dates.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh, wow, look at that. She's got a full spread. That looks good. I mean, I did just watch it when I got home from work. So naturally, you know, I was hungry. So I'm like, that looks good as hell. It's in the screen.
I also thought it was something of a morality tale a little bit too, because a lot of the things that happen to these characters, none of these characters, except maybe the girl was like really innocent and all that. Like, he hacked his way to win. Right? He hadn't originally win. He wouldn't have gone through any of this had he not decided to do that. His friend was skeezy. There was just a few things, like the bully kind of deserved it. Not to die, but he wasn't exactly the nicest person ever.
No,
so
I mean, I think shooting his eyeball out was a bit excessive.
Yeah,
he deserved to have the crap scared out of him, though.
I thought, I was like, okay, if it just goes to the point where he shoots his eye out and he's like, oh, this robot did it to me and no one, like, I didn't know how far they were going to go. That's what threw me off. I was like, oh, he's dead. It's like, it's not like, oh, he's just in a coma. His neck got cracked. I was like, this movie's going hard.
Yeah, to show how different the TV edit is to that, the bearing is what killed him in the TV edit.
Oh.
So they don't even show that
really?
whole like falling down the stairs bit, which I get it. I mean, I've watched The Exorcist on TV. They show that whole scene. They don't cut away from that one at all.
Mm-hmm. That reminds me when I watched Howard the Duck for the first time on WB11. And there was just so many things I hadn't seen. And then when I finally saw Uncut, I was like, oh my gosh, they're showing that duck's breast. Like, what is this? This was never in the WB11 version, you know?
First time I watched that, like ever, I was with my an old roommate, and he was like, oh, dude, Howard the Duck, this is going to be great. This movie's so great. I watched this all the time as a kid. Yeah. And then like that part went on. I just looked at him. I was like, you watched it all the time as a kid, huh? He's like, dude, shut up.
Yeah, they really they cut a lot of stuff out in the TV edits back when
they really
do movies on Saturdays and Sundays. I didn't even know there was a sex scene in Teen Witch until later on. I was like, what? This was playing on Disney all the time.
It's interesting that how we're talking about the TV edits, because one of the you may not find this as interesting as I did when I found it, but it was a television edit of Halloween. And it had like, and I'm sorry, no, Halloween 2. It was the television edit version. I found a version of that. Just so, I mean, at first as a kid, oh, cool, Halloween. Just Halloween 2, nice. So it had all of the included scenes and the heavy dialogue about, this is her brother and like all of that stuff that was later added to the TV. No, it was Halloween. I'm sorry. Yeah. Because it was a TV edit that they added that too. So it was with all that included scenes. So the version I had for the longest time of Halloween was that version that was aired on TV.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, I did also later get a copy of it and see the 70 cut like Carpenter as it should stand. But that I just think it is fascinating, the edits that they have to do, because I know they shot the extra footage for Halloween because it ran just a little shy of the runtime for TV. So Carpenter, Deborah Hill made a small unit, went out and shot some stuff.
That is interesting. I actually find that interesting. I find a lot of film history type stuff interesting. So thank you for that.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to TV edits, the one I'll always remember is Big Lebowski, and I probably brought it up before Bobby, but Chauncey, you have this. But there's a scene where John Goodman is yelling, "This is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass." And he says it over and over and over.
Yeah.
So for the TV edit, he's yelling, "This is what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps."
What?
Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
So picture somebody doing their very best angry John Goodman yell, but yelling that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is hilarious.
That's what it is.
That is funny.
I mean, some context to the scene. They think they found a guy who stole his friend Dude's car. And it's a Camaro, and because in Dude's car was a briefcase full of money, so they see a brand new Camaro. They think this is him, so he starts beating it up with a golf club while he's saying that.
Yeah,
it's not whose car they think it is, because that movie is just a whole continuals of just unfortunate events. And that's the best way I could describe it. But that one is also a movie that it definitely has a lot of kind of messages, but it's also a movie about nothing.
Yeah.
It goes all over.
It goes all over, but it's also kind of a movie about nothing.
For sure. So any final thoughts on Evolver? Are we ready to move on?
Yeah.
People should watch it.
Yeah, just say you watched it.
Yeah, it is on YouTube.
Right?
It's 100% on YouTube.
Yeah. I was not expecting that. I was like, oh. When
yeah.
you said that, I was like, oh.
There's some obscure movies on YouTube. Yeah, there's some.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Creative Commons type ones on YouTube as well, like really old school ones people can find on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've found some of my favorite public domain movies on there.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my old favorite, I guess kaiju movies called The Monster from Prehistoric Planet.
Really? Wow.
That's an interesting one. It's like the monster's kind of like a chicken lizard.
Okay, I think I have to watch that now.
It's interesting. I mean, it borrows a lot of elements from King Kong. Like, he lives on an island away. The natives there worship him as a god and all that. But they see an egg and they take it, or the little one, they take it. So that pisses off Mama and Daddy, and they come to grab it out of its park and take it home. So so it's like got the King Kong start, but the Godzilla finish.
Okay. I have to check that out now.
It is definitely worth a watch. And if you love the big monsters destroying miniature sets,
I do.
Yeah,
Godzilla's
it's great.
My jam.
It is great for that.
Well, it was fun having you on,
Thanks
Chauncey,
for
but I
having
guess
me.
this is it's awesome. Anytime you want to come back on, let us know.
Sure.
We are always up for having guests.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go before the spoilers.
We are going to. I guess we have time
if you
to talk about
Doctor
Strange too.
Strange, Wanda Supreme. I love Wanda. WandaVision was my fave. So.
Was Wanda in that movie?
I
totally missed that. I totally. Yeah.
All right.
Huh.
Take care.
Yeah. We're all good.
That was good.
Yeah.
Felt good.
I am interested in her takes on Doctor Strange,
too.
but I guess.
Well, since
if you want them, they'll probably pop up on our channel. So keep an eye on
will.
it. I mean, that they're not saying there's any horror stuff in this, but
no. I mean,
there's
little disclosure. I found this meme that I had sent to Bob after I had watched it, where it shows a picture of like two guys leading a giant Trojan horse into a castle. The castle was labeled casual public. The two guys, one of them was labeled a Disney exec, the other was Sam Raimi. The Trojan horse said Doctor Strange, but inside of it was Evil Dead 4.
Yeah.
And
and I don't know if I'd go quite that far, but there's you can tell Sam Raimi is tapping into some horror stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. This movie was just, I was so satisfied. And I wanted to go in with no expectations whatsoever. And unlike Spider-Man and Batman, I avoided the internet until I saw it. I avoided it all week until I saw it. I didn't want anything spoiled for me whatsoever. And I was completely and totally pissed off, and I absolutely hated it simply because Ted Raimi wasn't in the movie.
Not Tom Cruise?
Nope, Ted Raimi wasn't in the movie.
See,
Fuck Tom Cruise. Ted Raimi's better.
You see,
I'm kidding, of course.
Tom Cruise was so good in the movie. He just kind of melded into the background, so you don't even see Tom Cruise anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I would have preferred if he, like, just turned into spaghetti and dissolved.
Yeah. So we already said there's going to be spoilers. It's why Chauncey's not here.
Yes.
And yes, we are going to just spoil the shit out of this.
Oh, God, yeah.
If you want our quick thoughts, I really enjoyed this. This is a movie with a great message about, like, a great theme behind it about moving on, which I love.
Yeah.
It's by Sam Raimi, and I love Sam Raimi.
He delivered the message perfectly.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, he delivered the message perfectly.
Yes.
Oh.
And there's some great horror stuff in it,
There's
too.
some fucking awesome horror stuff in this.
Yeah.
So, your theater experience. Now, were there cheers when Bruce first showed up?
I don't think I really heard anything when Bruce first showed up. I think
my friend.
I think all I heard was me going, "Ooh."
Me and my friend were the only ones who went, "Yeah!" Like, we applauded.
Yeah. Now, when he popped up, I was like, "Nice."
And at that moment, me and my friend knew, like, "Oh God, we're the only ones who really know who Sam Raimi is in this theater."
Yeah.
I'm gonna love the rest of this experience. And it's true. I loved the rest of it because there were people going, "Oh, that's a bit much." And I went, "That? Wait till you see a deer's head crack and start laughing at you."
Yeah, if anybody thinks it's a bit much, then you need to get out more. I'm sorry.
The zombie pulling itself out of the dirt was a bit much.
Oh, I loved it.
There was one guy saying, "I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know how I feel about this." And it's like, oh, and I go, "Motherfucker, you know who Sam Raimi is? Like, you're going to be squeamish. You're going to be squeamish until the end of the movie."
This brings up something that I know people are posting about on Facebook. People saying, "Hey, don't take your kids to this. This is not like a kiddie movie."
No.
And my response to that is actually kind of, listen, I'm fine if you take your kids to it, but yeah, talk to your kids about this stuff. I actually think it's more important to talk to your kids about this stuff than, like, hide it from them.
Yeah.
I know I'm a radical parent like that, but I know... Yeah, but yeah, talk to your kids about this stuff, and yeah, if they want to watch it, yeah, and just, sit there with them and watch it.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. And this isn't like a hard R or anything. This is still very much a PG-13 movie.
Oh yeah, no, it is.
I bet you
it is far from Evolver. Yeah.
Yeah, but I bet you there's moments that push it.
Yeah. There
are more dead bodies than you usually see in a PG-13.
Yeah, they also don't shy away from, like, kind of getting really close to, like, graphic violence in this. Like, I will say this is probably one of the more violent ones in the MCU, I think.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, it is definitely one of the more violent ones. I mean, I think if I had to pick one that I thought was more violent, I would say Winter Soldier was pretty violent.
Yeah.
Not as bad, though.
Well, I'm trying to think. It'd be like Winter Soldier or Infinity War.
Yeah,
probably.
Infinity War got pretty graphic because, I mean, I'll still say I'm still squeamish with that scene of Thanos ripping the stone out of Vision's head. That one's still not really that easy to watch after all this time.
Well,
it's still not that easy to watch.
That does relate back to this one because she brings up how she blasted a hole in Vision's head and it didn't mean a damn thing.
Well, the first thing I really want to say is, like, this is definitely a Sam Raimi movie. Like, it absolutely is. I mean, we get a Bruce Campbell cameo. We get a 1973 Oldsmobile Delta 88 Royal cameo. That damn car is in every single Sam Raimi movie.
I missed it here. Where was it?
It was when after they jumped, America and Strange jump, I think, back to their universe, and there's cars floating all around when everything's starting to disintegrate. There's a shot that follows them from the shadow, and then you see down the street, you see the fucking holes just floating. I was like, dude. I was putting my friend, like, there's the fucking car.
Yes. Okay, I don't remember it, but I'm sure I'll see it now because I know the scene.
You know the scene. You're just gonna be like, oh, yeah, that would be the spot I would put it to. I mean, again, I didn't see Ted. Ted could have been motion capture or a makeup. But I did.
Well, it's like
I didn't
Ted
see...
was in Evil Dead 2.
Well, yeah, he was. Ted was. He was also in Evil Dead 1. I believe he played one of the hands, or at least one of the voices.
It's been so long since I've seen Evil Dead 1.
I know it was Sam who did all of the like following the camera.
Of course.
Yeah, it was just him running with the Steadicam, which is so cool.
I always assumed it was.
No, I'm just like, that's just so cool. Yeah. But
I guess
let's
time to really get deep into
spoiler territory.
Spoiler points. So if you don't want spoilers and you haven't turned off yet, this is your final warning. It's your own fault now.
If you walk into this not knowing who Sam Raimi is, you might not like it at all. I'm just gonna just give it a bad review. I mean, on the other hand, if you know who goddamn well Sam motherfucking Raimi is and what to expect, you'll fucking love it. Now, I mean, with this film, yeah, sure, I will admit I did see a few things that could have been problems. You know, with COVID, so many production issues, having to change director and script midway through production. I get it. And yeah, I did see some clunkiness, and when I hear about this before a movie is going to come out, I could at least hope the director ironed out as much of the kinks and tried to make a full conclusive, like a full story that just perfectly makes sense. And I feel that he did a damn good job of this. Now,
there's two questions I have, and maybe they're answered in the movie because I only saw it once, so maybe I missed it. But... like, to my understanding, they had to cut a lot out of this. So if I only have those two questions and they're minor questions, that's pretty fucking good.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I mean, I do have... I think the only thing that I have is just that... Now, when... Okay, well, Wanda's the bad villain in this one. Spoiler.
Yeah, I would actually say that is the biggest spoiler.
That is the biggest, because if you ask me, all the advertising made it seem that her and Strange were teaming up.
Yes, and all that advertising is focused on like their first like 2 minutes together.
Yeah.
And then it goes south so quickly.
Because that conversation was probably like, hey, one of my favorite parts of the movie. And you know what it really reminded me of? It reminded me of like it's kind of it's a familiar setting that you've seen a lot in older Westerns. Like, you know, it's about like two strangers or two people who know each other meeting in a place. One is poisoned, the other has the antidote. They're both enemies. Like, just that's sort of like a scenario and that tension, and that's how you could build tension within a scene. Like, I felt that in that moment when she just said, "You never told me her name, did you?" And after she said America, and it was just like, oh fuck. Oh. Yeah, my friend who I went with, we both just were like, oh fuck. And it was not so more like just like, holy crap, Wanda's the villain in this. It's more of, oh fuck, it's Strange versus Wanda. This is, oh Steven, you're gonna need some help, man. Yeah. Because if you have not watched WandaVision, none of this will make sense to you as to why she is as angry as she is, and as vengeful and vindictive. And that end credit scene at the end of WandaVision makes so much more sense now. We see her dealing with the Dark Matter book, which, I mean, nudge and a wink, Evil Dead. Totally. Like, yes, as they called it, a Book of the Dead, I just, in the theater, ha! Just couldn't help it. I couldn't help it.
Well, what I love is how they set up Wanda. They do a lot of work. WandaVision especially does a lot of work setting up Wanda for this movie.
Yeah.
And it's actually a great series on its own, so it's actually worth
standalone
watching.
Perfect.
But even within the context of this movie, I feel they do a good job setting her up, but they also set her up to be like an opposite of Strange. Because you have Strange, who at the beginning of this movie, he's going to Christine Palmer's wedding. Yeah. Which, when I first hear that, I'm like, that's kind of weird, but maybe they've evolved to a point where they're like friends and this is okay. But then at the wedding, he is clearly staring at her, pining for her. And it's like, dude, what are you doing
I think my favorite part of it is when she asked if her husband could get an autograph. He's a really big fan. That was really funny.
Well, that's the thing. So it's setting up strange.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to bring up real quick. Also, my lovely sweetheart Rachel McAdams looked fucking gorgeous in every part of this movie.
Yeah. Well, our Christine Palmer has a very small role in this movie, but I actually think Rachel McAdams has a bigger role in this movie than in the first one.
Yeah. Let's call it what it is. 616. She has a very small role. Now, over in the 838, yes, which doesn't suck. Doesn't suck. I'm sorry, Miss America, but it does not suck. It does have some good things. I mean, that Wanda is great.
Well, it's worth. Well, as I was also trying to get to. So it sets up. He is pining after her, and he needs to learn to move on. But he understands he needs to learn to move on. And that brings us to Scarlet Witch. She has lost a lot. She's lost a lot more than Strange has. But she's not moving on. And it sets up these two as like a dynamic, as, you know, she is Strange if he doesn't learn to move on. And I love how, like, they give her whole character arc, but she also is set up as an opposite for him as an antagonist and protagonist should be set up. It's just a little story thing. I love when they figure out good storytelling like that. Thank you.
Yes, thank you guys.
It's a great villain. Good job.
Yeah, like great kudos all around. But we later in the beginning of the film were introduced to America Chavez. This is a new character. Now she has a mutant ability. Well, they didn't say mutant really, just I don't think she's a mutant. A superpower. Yeah, just a superpower.
Yeah.
That she can seamlessly jump from multiverse to multiverse to multiverse just at will. And you know, she's been doing that her entire life. So she's just trying, and she's been free. And after a while, she started getting followed by some dark entity, like a dark spirit, that we see disrupt Christine's wedding. Now, at first, it just looks like a bunch of random crap happening, and then Strange pulls in perception, and then sees, oh, it's this giant, like, ugly tentacle, like monster, horrific thing.
And it does kind of bring me to one of my complaints about this movie, because it's a minor complaint, but the beginning is so filled with CGI that felt a little fake at times, and it wasn't quite drawing me in as much as I'm sure they wanted it to. There's so many CGI monsters at the beginning of this. This quickly changes when he goes to meet with Wanda, though.
Yeah.
This is like the huge turning point for the movie, where it's like, holy shit. I feel like when Wanda is introduced, that's when we get like a concrete villain, like it's good.
It is.
She's gone insane. She has gone completely off the deep end, and it is believable because we know she's not the most mentally stable. Even if she means well, she's kind of reached a point where she doesn't even care to mean well anymore.
Like, she just we know what she's all been through, and we see like, you know, the challenges that she's gone through and faced. So, you know, we know where she's at from following, you know, WandaVision. So this is kind of like a natural not natural progression, but it's an understandable progression.
Yeah. You know, it's absolutely true. She's just off the deep end. She has decided that the world has taken enough from her, and now she is going to take back whatever the cost, which involves, and it is one of those things where I'm watching it like, okay, Wanda, don't kill people. Please don't kill people. Once you kill people, you're past the point of no return. Then it's just all out open war. And yeah, she starts killing people, and it's like, oh shit, Wanda. But yes, it involves we brought up America Chavez.
Yeah.
What do you think of her? I
kind of felt that she didn't have enough room to like fully explore her character, and I kind of felt that they spaced it out a little bit throughout. That's kind of one of my complaints about it. I kind of wish that.
That's the thing. Like, I don't dislike
I didn't dislike her. No, I actually enjoyed her presence in the film, and and really, like, she was great comedic relief when she needed to be. She actually always had something to do as a character, and she didn't stop the story in its tracks. She helped progress it. I really enjoy and I have no complaints about her, but I just kind of felt like we should have gotten a little bit more about her. But it also worked with her, how her introduction worked, or it was done.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not as attached to her as I think maybe they want me to be, but I don't know how much I would want to change it, because I do really like the dynamic between Strange and Wanda, and I think that works extremely well.
Yeah.
And would it take away from that if we start adding more to America's story? Because they can always expand on America in a Disney Plus series or a solo movie. I don't know what they're planning to do with her. I assume more.
Well, what I'm understanding is that I think they're setting up for Young Avengers.
Oh, yeah, that would actually
because she is a Young Avenger, and so is Kate Bishop. Like they've already been setting up a few of them, so it's like, I mean,
well, one I would like to see would be Miles. But, they haven't set that one up as much as that.
Like to see Miles as well.
Yes,
I would very much love to see who they would cast as Miles.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. Well, yeah, actually, Miss Marvel's coming out soon. I'm pretty sure she's a Young Avenger as well.
Yeah, Miss Marvel, that's a series that's coming out, and she is also a Young Avenger. Yeah, it's like, what was it, Kamala Khan, right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Which I'll admit, in the beginning of the Avenger game, I was like, oh, is this a new character that they've introduced more recently? And I'm like kind of Googling it. Yeah, she's a more newer character. And like the voice actor in it was just kind of like being young, peppy, and like in the beginning of that Avengers video game. So part of me was like, all right, this might get a little old. How long until I unlock Cap?
Yeah. I still haven't gotten that Avengers game. I was not thrilled with the demo, I have to admit.
I pre-ordered and I got like play the first level, in preparation. So I was psyched for it because I loved like what I saw, and I was like, I'm sold. This looks great. Yeah, I regret buying that game. That game.
Spider-Man games are excellent, by the way.
Yeah, Spider-Man games are flawless.
Yeah, but one thing we have to get to is the first universe they jump to. If we talk about nothing else,
what, the Illuminati?
Well, first, there's only like 3 universes they really jump into seriously here.
Yeah, I mean, we spent a lot of time in Earth 383, which has the Illuminati, which is featured in a lot of Marvel comics now. Those who are seated in this Illuminati aren't exactly what we're used to, but we do see some faces that we have hoped to see, some faces we've already seen, and one from the past. We do see John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, which I was like, oh, that means he's not going to be Reeve in the movie. Fuck.
Well, it means it could go either way. It really does.
I mean, if in that theory, if that universe is Doctor Strange, it looks a lot like our Doctor Strange or 616's, then maybe, yes, I'll give you that. Maybe, yes. Yeah. But I mean, one could argue, but if Strange's, multiverse looks a lot like, the Strange we know, why does Peter Parker look different? In the sense of the MCU, it is a solid theory because they've both established, Garfield and Maguire. So.
Well, I think it's safe to say in the multiverse they can kind of do it.
Well, yeah, but also I guess you could also save it with a quick line of dialogue like known and unknown universes. One to the rescue.
With Krasinski there, I think it's obviously fan service. But definitely. If they don't cast him as Mr. Fantastic, at least they're saying, "Here you guys go."
No, that wasn't fan service.
Oh no,
that
wasn't
fan service. I mean,
I know the fan theory.
It totally was fan service. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say Professor X was fan service.
Oh well, the entire Illuminati in this are fan service. That being said, they're mostly fairly classic characters from the Illuminati, if I remember correctly, with the exception of Captain Carter. I don't remember if Captain Marvel's there or not. If it was probably Marvel.
Yeah.
But I don't remember if they were a part. But yeah, Black Bolt, Reed Richards, and Professor X, absolutely members of the Illuminati in the comic book.
And Professor X is played by Patrick Stewart, and he comes wheeling in that giant yellow wheelchair. And did you notice the subtle animated X-Men theme play as he wheeled in?
Oh, yes.
I
loved it.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it did kind of... At first, I was like, wait, is this universe? Is 838 the animated universe? But then I'm like, wait, this world does look kind of funky. I don't think it is.
And then you just heard... and just, oh my God.
Yeah, I kind of love, like, you have Patrick Stewart as Professor X, but they're really calling back to the animated series with Professor X here. Fucking great.
That was great.
But I think we also need to talk about Black Bolt, because you do recognize the actor who played Black Bolt?
I did not.
Anson Mount. Not a world famous actor. He does do a great job on Star Trek Discovery, and he's now in Strange New Worlds. But he also played Black Bolt in that terrible Inhumans TV series that was on ABC for like a year. They brought him back to play the role. Except this time they have a fully realized version of the suit. In the other version, he just had he wore like a regular suit, but he didn't have a mask or anything. Here they went full comic book accurate with the suit.
That's cool.
Fully committing to it. It's kind of awesome.
That's cool. I didn't know that. That's pretty awesome.
But yeah, when I was looking, I was like, Jesus Christ, is that the guy from the terrible series? I haven't even watched the series. I've just seen like clips of it. But
yeah, so after we meet the Illuminati and everything, they revealed to Strange that, we had a Strange here in our world. But after we defeated Thanos, good guys won in that one the first round. They won. Yeah. It was Strange who had to death walk, which is something that he had to get through the power of the Dark Book, or the Book of the Dead, that he's been after this whole time. And Wanda's been after it, so they're both chasing it. Oh, while we meet all this, we find out that Wanda has been jumping from different Wandas all throughout the multiverse trying to find her kids.
Yes.
And
she's found out that every single multiverse, she has kids except the world
she's living in. Yeah. Which also, a lot of it, I'm sure, is the book doing that to her.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, they talk about how the book corrupts, which is part of why 838 Strange got killed. Which is actually one of my questions. And yeah, you just answered. I was like, yeah, that's right. That was it. I did not remember why they killed him. Because the Illuminati kills this 838 Strange. At first, it's implied he dies giving his life to Thanos, which... Well,
yeah, we...
Kind of, but
when
not
they get to that world, he goes... Strange and America go to Beaker Street. But they later find out it's the Baxter Building. Right then, I knew. Baxter Building.
Yeah.
We're going to get a Fantastic Four cameo of some sort. Yeah. It's like, wait, it's the Baxter Building. Like, looking at my friend, like, about to argue with him in the theater. Dude, the Baxter Building. That's the Fantastic Four building.
No, as soon as they said Baxter, I was like,
oh, cool. Hey, I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, Baxter.
That's clearly a reference to Baxter Stockman.
Yep, Baxter and his mousers.
Yes, but
we also find out in the Illuminati Strange. When they get there, they see a giant statue, and that is how it's implied, as if like he has some sort of statue like Iron Man does in 616.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. He does have a statue. I totally forgot about that. But yeah. Whoever defeats Thanos gets a statue, apparently. I guess you have to die defeating him.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure Thor, if he would have taken the head at first, that would have been like the perfect trophy.
Yeah. Now you got me thinking about talk about Thor when that comes out, man. That's not too far.
No, that one isn't. And that we got a trailer for that in my theater.
Yeah, I missed most of the trailers.
But, it was that one. Something else that kind of looked a little dumb. I forget.
Well, we walked in during Avatar 2.
Yeah, that was the one.
And I remember thinking, oh my God, are they actually making this? I was thinking this thing is just like perpetually going to be in production until James Cameron dies, honestly. It's Jesus.
No, apparently he's finally done. He's going to try and he's going to try and knock the superheroes off. I think what motivated him is Endgame.
Maybe. We'll have to see. I'm not super excited for it, but you know what? It's James Cameron. I'm going to give it a shot.
You should just go.
It's James Cameron.
You should go back to Terminator.
I don't know about Terminator, but I would like it if he... I don't know. Like, part of me says I want him to do his own thing, but apparently this is what he wants to do now. Because he could do anything he wants. I don't want to hear, he has to do Avatar 2. He could do anything
he
wants.
absolutely could.
He clearly wants to do Avatar 2.
And that's unfortunate.
So, okay. But yeah, I wouldn't mind, like, more movies like Abyss.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind another
Which, by the way, I don't even think has a 4K release. Abyss on 4K, guys. I mean,
no, it does at least have a Blu-ray, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not...
But yeah, so we do find out that Baron Carlo Mordo is actually replacing Strange in the 383 on the Illuminati console.
Yes.
Who actually throughout the trailer, I thought that he was going to be the bad guy.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting thing because with the ending of the second one, I assumed Mordo would be a major player in the second one.
Yeah.
616 Mordo isn't even in this movie.
Not
it is
at all
838.
Yep. Yeah. That was something I was not ready for.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. One of the questions I did have, and maybe you'll be able to answer this one too. We leave off with the Illuminati fighting Wanda, not going well for the Illuminati.
No. Yeah, we do see all those cool, badass characters we talk about fucking horrendously die. Yeah. Sam Raimi's at the helm.
Really horrendously.
Reed Richards gets turned into spaghetti and his head pops.
Butchered.
Black Bolt, his mouth disappears and he says something and his brain explodes.
Yes.
What is it? Captain Carter gets cut in half by the shield?
Yeah, Captain Carter gets cut in half by the shield. Captain Marvel gets crushed by a statue. Yeah. And Professor X is the last one standing. He tries to do a mind warp on her, but she just kind of traps him and then sneaks up and snaps
in his own mind, and that causes him to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like, oh, fuck, you fucking did it, Sam. Shit.
Yeah. Well, when we're talking about power levels, usually in the MCU, we're talking about characters of reduced power. And here's the crazy thing. When we're talking about Wanda in this movie, I would actually say that's probably about par for the course. She is a little bit less powerful here than she gets in the comic book.
Yeah. Now,
which tells you how insane it gets in the comic book.
Well, you think about it, I think that they could be doing one of two things, the MCU currently. I'm pretty sure it's Secret Wars. I'm almost sure it's Secret Wars is what they're going to start, or the Secret Invasion, because they've been kind of teasing the Krill invasion since Captain Marvel. Mm-hmm. But they also could be doing a combination of Krill invasion and Secret Wars, which would be fucking cool.
Yeah.
But
we gotta see
or maybe House of M, where Wanda decides there's no more mutants.
Well, we have to have mutants before we have more mutants. How many mutants do we have in canon right now? And that's assuming that Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are mutants, which I don't even know if that's firmly established in the MCU yet.
No, it's not. I would say, since
I think the only mutant we've seen may be Professor X. Deadpool is not technically MCU yet.
But so would you?
I will happily add yet.
Huh. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think there are any mutants that we have seen.
Mm-hmm.
Strange called.
Well,
Strange
after this movie, I think there will be a delay.
Strange said spider-related superheroes. That line cracked me. Or insect-related superheroes. That's a slight dig at Ant-Man, Wasp, Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
That was funny.
But now I don't even know where my brain was going
Yeah.
to. But, oh yes, the question I had. So, Strange ends up in a fist fight with 838 Mordo.
Yeah.
And then I swear we cut away, and the next scene we see Strange running up to 838 Rachel McAdams. Do we see the end of that fight? And I just don't remember.
I don't remember.
I think
you're
it cuts
right.
away.
Yeah, I think it cuts away.
Okay.
Hi, doggy.
Yeah, I think that's a deleted scene.
Hi,
yeah,
doggy.
I will say it kind of works because when he's running up, like, we don't know who it is, so there's a little bit of mystery without seeing the end of the fight. But that being said, that fight kind of should have a conclusion. It's just Mordo's gone all of a sudden, and honestly, they're fighting, and then I believe that's the last we even see of that universe.
Yeah, I
Mordo
don't think we
after
see him
all
again.
that.
Oh,
So
no!
Yeah,
I think we
not-
see him.
not
No,
perfect
we
there,
don't.
but-
We don't see him in the final conflict, like where they're chasing through
No.
the hallways in the basements. Now, there was
Mhm.
one part during that final chase where Wanda's after him, and you see her
Mhm.
come in. She's just covered in blood. That was so cool.
Mhm.
Where
Well, that's the thing. They kind of scurried around at because it's not clear if it's blood or like motor oil because she was fighting a whole bunch of Ultron.
yeah,
bots.
that was a nice touch.
And it's obvious what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
But yeah, is it? We don't
No,
know.
like at first, like yeah, Thomas and I were like, or my friend who I went with, we were both like, what? What? He's like, what are those? Is that the Iron Army? No, it's not. The head's not right. It could be aimbots, dude. No, and then like we heard one saying like, it's like, and the one referred to as Ultron. We were like, oh, it's Ultron. Okay.
Yeah, no, those are Ultron bots. When I first saw those pop up, I was like, oh shit.
I thought they were aimbots at first.
Yeah.
I literally thought they were aimbots, and like Baxter owned AIM in this universe. Totally plausible in my opinion. Because it's like, are we going to bring in AIM and just really have AIM not be Hydra in this universe? Because that would be cool.
But yeah, I would say there's not a whole lot of universe hopping here, and lots of the reason why the cameos I won't consider that big a spoiler is because these are one-shot characters. These are not like versions of characters we've seen before. Like, there's no way this is the same Captain Carter from What If.
We did see Captain Carter, and it was voiced by the same actress. Though, if it's the same Captain Carter, I don't know.
Yeah, well then I guess she's super dead, but I don't think it's the same Captain Carter. I doubt it. Yeah, I don't think it's the same version of these characters at all. For me, the biggest twist here is Wanda being the main villain. Because I lots of people theorize that, but I was like, probably not. But no, she is full on villain mode.
Full on the bad guy. And
yeah.
also, yes, we forgot to mention the first cameo by Bruce Campbell in this movie. Which I knew he was totally going to be in this, and he played a street vendor, and it was like, yeah, stuff's free.
That's right.
And she's like, yeah, stuff's free in this universe. Yeah, you're hungry, they feed you. It's great. Hey, you gotta pay. And Bruce right there. And Strange put a spell on him for him to hit himself, which I've seen people refer to as a callback to Evil Dead 2, where he was beating the crap out of himself. And I think, no, that's not a callback to anything. All that is a callback to is that Sam and Bruce have been friends for years, and Sam loves to abuse his actors, especially when they're friends.
Yeah, that's true, too. I don't know. He's worse to his brother, though.
He is worse to Ted.
Which makes me wonder, where was he in this? He's got to be.
I looked in the entire credits. I did not see Ted Raimi.
It's probably just not on there yet. There'll probably be some secret special feature that reveals where he's at. I don't see Sam making a movie without Ted involved. I
didn't see him as a producer. I mean, he could have been under the umbrella of the Raimi, whatever their production company is, because it's Ted, Sam, and Ivan, right? It's the three of them, right? Yeah, Ivan Raimi.
Well, there's Rob Tappert.
And Rob Tappert, yeah. Rob Tappert. I did see Rob Tappert's name. Which, I don't think he and Sam don't do anything. Like, rarely work apart. Yeah.
They're always involved with, But, Yeah, I love Bruce Campbell. The pizza ball. I want to bring up. He's a pizza ball vendor. Yeah. And America, like, it's brought up, hey, you don't have any money. And she's like, actually, your universe is weird. In every other universe, food is free. But in this universe, you have to pay. And of course, the Bruce Campbell pops up. Hey, you didn't pay for that. Oh, apparently this one too. Apparently.
And Strange puts a spell, and Bruce starts beating the shit out of himself. We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
The movie wrapped up, and I think then we go to meet the Illuminati after that, and then we have the big ending fight, which Wanda at the end of this film ends up sacrificing herself to the 383, or at least to it. She gives in and just sees, because she goes to that one as herself, sees that her kids are terrified because they see her as the witch that hurt their mother, and they're terrified of her, and that just Wanda then sees what she's become. She decides that she needs to destroy the Dark Book, and we see her kind of, I think, sacrifice herself and destroy the book.
Yes.
But I also saw that red light glowing still, like, way after she was gone. Like, way after that building fell. I saw it, so she could have protected herself from it, but maybe. I don't know.
I will say this ending is, to call back to another Sam Raimi movie, this is also the ending of Spider-Man 2, which I noticed.
Yeah.
They pull it off really well, but yes, this is a good character who went insane, sees the light, and sacrificed themselves to save the day.
This is what happens when the studio doesn't rush Sam. You could tell he could have a great story.
Yes, for sure. Yes. So like in the end, Wanda isn't the villain, but throughout most of it,
she's the fucking villain through most of it.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I don't know if you've heard it, but I really dug this movie. This was fun. I do want to see it again. I don't know if I'll get a chance to see it again before it leaves theaters, but I wouldn't mind at least getting one more.
Yeah, I would totally want to watch it again.
I'm not sure when it comes on Disney Plus. Usually, I feel like it's like a 6-week wait.
I think it's like a 90 days. 90 days, maybe.
Is it? I thought it was usually 90 days for physical. But we'll see. I know Shang-Chi and Eternals came out very quickly. This one might be a bit of delayed because the box office was really big and it might linger a bit. But yeah, good movie. Oh, and I guess, do we want to talk about mid and post credit scenes?
Yeah, mid. The mid.
Yeah, mid was a thing.
Yeah. At the end of the film, we see that. We find out that Strange still has like the Dark Soul attached to him a little bit, or the book, and he has a third eye.
Yeah,
which is a little weird, but totally Sam Raimi. Oh, we didn't even talk about how Strange won. He possessed another universe's dead version of himself and fought.
Yes, when America came to 616, she came with a corpse of a Doctor Strange who was actually protecting her, but then at last minute decided the best move was to kill her. And then he ended up dying. So that corpse ended up stuck in 616, and he had to read the Darkhold, figure out how to inhabit, because the Darkhold will tell you how to inhabit the soul, the bodies of yourself in other universes. Yep. So he had to learn that so he could go back to 616 in the body of his dead
which is buried in the garden on top of the sanctum,
which partially rotted. He didn't have a cloak of levitation, but there are these like evil ghosts that were trying to stop him, and he learned how to control them and turn them into a fucking
that was so
wicked ass
awesome.
Ghost cape. No, it looked so cool.
So awesome.
Ghost Doctor Strange might have stole the show.
You know what? I don't care. Dead-Eye Doctor Strange was the best.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that pretty awesome.
Yeah, I was thoroughly satisfied with this movie. So the final credit scene of this movie. Yeah. After 20 minutes, I timed it. 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. We go back and see Bruce still beating the shit out of himself. Then he stops. Yes. Mm-hmm. It's over. Ha ha! It's finally over. And then boom, gone. Mm-hmm. People were so pissed in my theater.
Yeah.
Just we got fucking trolled.
I think that's weird because post-credit scenes are frequently kind of a joke. They don't always have to be, but sometimes they are.
The first time I think Marvel ever trolled them was at the beginning of Homecoming, where it was Cap. patience is a good thing.
Yeah.
That's just fuck you, Cap.
Yeah. That was absolutely Marvel trolling with the Homecoming post.
That was them
oh my god,
trolling so hard.
Yes.
But this one.
So you've waited till the end of the credits for a scene that's most likely disappointing.
For something, it's okay. That happens. Life can be disappointing sometimes. And instead, we get a life lesson from Captain America.
It's like, nice.
And Chris Evans did it so well. But Bruce if you have Bruce Campbell at your disposal, why not use him?
And yeah, I feel like we're about ready to move off. But I do want to mention the score by Danny Elfman because I saw lots of people were bashing it. I will say I won't mind a bit more callbacks to the original Doctor Strange score. That being said, I thought he did a great job.
I have nothing really stood out score wise to me.
I noticed he added lots of more of a guitar edge to a score than you know.
I did note, which I noticed that, and I felt that it mostly did it like when they were interdimensional multiverse hopping, which it totally fit, and I really enjoyed. Like I thought it fit perfectly. I have nothing bad to say about any of it. Like Danny Elfman seldom turns in shit.
Yeah, he is a talented
and also, I mean, the man wrote Dead Man's Party. I can't say a bad thing about him.
Yeah,
I honestly can't.
The
man wrote Dead Man's Party.
I am a fan.
I can't say anything bad about him.
But are we ready to go on to Moon Knight now?
Yeah. Let's go to more clusterfucks.
More Marvel. Well, it's a big week for Marvel. I've been noticing they've been synchronizing the TV series concluding and the new movies. Like I noticed not Far From Home, but No Way Home and Hawkeye synchronized.
Well, yeah, like
and then this synchronized with
right around what was it? Right around the end of Hawkeye is when Far From Home came out.
Hold on, I got a cat here.
Oh, it's okay. Moon
Knight.
Moon Knight. Yes, this series concluded. We finally get to see the end result of Mark going back for Steven. Because at the end, Steven had fallen off.
Oh, you're jumping ahead to episode 5. We're talking about 4, 5, and 6.
4, 5, and 6. Yes, that's right. It ended with the hippopotamus.
Yeah, hippopotamus was at the end of
3.
4. No, it was 4.
4. Okay. You better start then, because I.
Yeah, no. Well, essentially, the fourth episode is kind of fun, but I'd definitely say it's the lesser of the 3 because it's kind of just Layla and Steven. I'm trying to remember if it's Steven or Mark. It's Steven. Doing essentially Tomb Hunter stuff. Yeah, and there are some mummy stuff, and it's kind of cool.
It is.
But it was fun. But it doesn't quite conclude. Like 3/4 of the way through, Arthur catches him and kills Stephen Mark.
Yeah.
And that's not the end of the episode.
No, and the end of the episode, they both wake up in what looks like a hospital.
Yes, it's very Legion-esque, but they definitely take it in a different direction.
Yeah, it's very weird.
You see Layla, and Layla's there as another patient. We see Arthur as like the doctor in this office that like it's all white, but looks like it's partially constructed and busted. It doesn't make sense. It's obviously something we're missing. But yes, it ends with Mark finding Steven, because it's Steven throughout most of that story, and then Mark is the one that pops up when he dies. But then Mark finds Steven, and they're actually 2 different people in this area, this hospital. And that's where they find the hippopotamus turret? I don't remember the name exactly. It's something like that. But awesome character we see a lot in the next episode.
Yeah.
But that brings us to episode 5, which is definitely the episode to talk about. Because that was...
Yes.
For me, this series, episode 1 and 5 are fucking gold.
Oh, 5.
God.
It was compelling storytelling. Like, oh my God.
Yes.
And we delved into each of the characters. And it finally
Mm-hmm.
answered my question, what we talked about last time. Like, you know, well, who possessed who? Like, what did Mark possess Steven, or did Steven possess Mark? Because obviously, like the god Moon Knight, like he possessed one of them, but was one of them already that? And no, everything I was questioning wasn't even the right. I wasn't even asking the right questions.
Yeah,
It's been Mark the whole time.
Well, it's worth noting that, like, you get the origin in this episode.
Yeah.
And that him becoming Moon Knight is such a small part of the origin.
Yeah.
It's there. It's important. But so much of this is about Mark and Steven and how they even came to be.
Yeah.
How they both came, like, how Steven came into existence. Because, yes, Mark is the main personality. Yeah. But then Steven comes in. God, the story with his brother is
heartbreaking.
Absolutely heartbreaking. And it might even be more heartbreaking with how his mother handles it.
Yeah. Like, there was times where I was watching it, like, even I was watching it with the wife, and we both were watching it going, good Lord, lady. Like, the fuck?
Yeah.
He's a child. Is that fucking necessary?
No, it's like, okay, I understand you're upset you lost a child, but you're now going to just essentially lose your other child.
Yeah.
Because you can't get past this.
No.
It's tragic. As a parent myself, I cannot imagine behaving the way she behaves.
Towards like another child, like one of your kids.
Yeah,
like,
at all.
God.
That towards anybody, honestly.
Yeah. No. Like, I mean, I've met enemies in my time, and I wouldn't speak to them that way. Like, good Lord.
I guess, yeah, we haven't even said what the big event was, but yeah, Mark had a little brother. They went into a cave. There's a big storm. The cave kind of goes downward. There's a hole, and his brother drowned.
Yeah.
And of course, Mark, he was told by the mother to protect the little brother, and he couldn't save him. And the mother just blames him.
Yep.
Throughout even his adult life, it seemed like she was blaming him. And the father seemed like he was trying to keep things together, trying to keep things normal. Yeah. But it's not. And
it even showed that
it's possible he didn't.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like...
say it's...
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I was just going to say, it. Like, we actually do see that it even went to physical abuse where the mother would be, like, whipping him. And a part of me is like, did the father even know about that? And it's like, if it went on for long enough, he knew. Even if she was hiding it from him, he would have to know.
So, like, was he just ignoring it then?
Possibly.
I think he might have been.
That's the thing. Like, I don't know how best for the father to handle this, because he is put in a tough situation.
Yeah.
Because part of me says, what you need to do is take the kid and leave.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to leave. You cannot be in this environment. But another part of me says, what if the courts get involved and say, no, that's the mother. The kid stays with the mother.
Yeah.
I don't know an easy answer for him.
No.
I don't know if he handled it the best way or not.
I think that scene at his mother's funeral, where you see Steven just standing outside, and his father looking out at him and just like, kind of, hey, come in. He's like, no. I think that and his dad didn't really go out to try and change his mind or anything. He just kind of nodded and just waved at him. And I think he might have known because of that scene about the abuse, but also I think in that moment he also completely understood. And I think that was an interesting moment to see between Mark and his father. And then, him just seamlessly transition into Steven.
Yeah. Well, I know dramatically it doesn't quite work, but I know, like, as a parent, it's like, okay, even if the kid doesn't want to go in there, you go out there and talk to your kid for a little bit. You go give him a hug, say, hey, I love you.
Yeah.
I
know. Yeah. Thematically, it worked perfectly. In reality, that's you leave your house. You leave your house full of strangers because your boy's out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we learned that Steven was largely created by Mark to help protect him from the abuse, which, oh my god.
Yeah, he created the alter ego Steven to get whooped.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, Steven has this alternate, like, essentially, it seems like his parents look the same, but, like, he has this loving relationship with his mother that is completely fictionalized.
Yeah.
He talks about how he talks to his mother every day, even though his mother's dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Episode 5 is just honestly goddamn world-class story.
Yeah, it's a great example of Marvel punching you in the gut. Just giving you a good gut punch because we have an epic conclusion to talk about.
Yeah. Well, they're psyching up for it because right at the end of this episode, we find out all the story about Mark and how Steven came to be. And then Steven falls off the boat and apparently dies at the end.
Yeah.
And
after
it was sad.
After Steven saved Mark when Mark was in trouble by some entities that they were fighting, Steven stepped up and whooped some ass.
Yeah, Steven did what honestly he was there to do, protect Mark.
Yeah.
Which it was sweet.
It was.
But yeah, now we're getting into the not as good as the last episode, but still pretty good finale.
Yeah.
Episode 6.
Yeah.
This wasn't quite what I was expecting, but was still pretty good.
Yeah. It was pretty good. I was thoroughly impressed.
Yeah. We get Torrit, the hippo, agrees to help Mark because the hippo actually seems really fucking nice.
Yeah, and seems like my favorite character in the show.
Yeah, she's like one of the gods, and most of these Egyptian gods seem kind of seedy. Like Khonshu, the one who inhabits Mark and makes him Moon Knight, seems kind of seedy. But this hippo, Torrit, I want to say, fucking nice as hell. Like nicest person you could ever hope to meet. Yeah. She is helping Mark out, and she agrees to help try to revive him by getting Layla to unleash Khonshu by inhabiting dead people who are around. Like,
yep.
And she is actually trying to get Layla to become her avatar.
It'd be really cool.
Layla's obviously resistant.
It'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. You know, we can work out, girl. This dialogue.
It's one of those things where...
I'm sorry, that scene was hilarious with her talking to Layla.
No. It's one of those things where I'm watching it and, like, I understand why Layla's like, no, I don't want to do that because she's seeing how the avatars are treated and stuff like that. But I'm also no Torrit. Yeah. And it's like, this one could be fun.
Layla, this one's different.
Don't dismiss this so quickly.
Layla, I know what you may know, but it's a hippo. She's so cool.
Yeah. I know what you know, but I know what I know. And what I know is...
She
Go for it.
She's the one that you would be the avatar for. You two are a perfect match. Perfect match.
But yes, she does eventually release Khonshu, and Khonshu obviously wants Layla to be his new avatar, and she's like, no, you gotta go get Mark, who's dead.
Mm-hmm.
But on limited options, he brings Mark back. And and what I love is Mark also goes back to get Steven, which at first I had mixed feelings about, but the more I saw it, the more I was on board with it. Because my initial thought of the sacrifice was this is how Mark evolves. He has to kind of move past Steven. But how the next episode treats it, I feel, is also good because it's different. It's him saying, "Hey, I still need Steven, but let's do this together.
Yeah,
let's be buddies. Let's not compete for the body. Let's just be buddies in this thing."
Yeah,
and I like that.
I did like the seamless back and forth and how you could tell the difference between Mark as Moon Knight and Steven as Moon Knight. How Steven had the full suit.
Yeah, Steven's almost like a Deadpool-esque style Moon Knight character.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, Mr. Knight or
deadly.
Whatever. Yeah. And then Mark has like the epic cool suit, and Steven's is almost comedic. But you know what? It seems like they have about the same powers. Mark's probably better with him. But you know what?
It's probably both the ways that, like Oscar Isaac said, now I can play this any way like you want me to.
Well, I'm glad you said that because Oscar Isaac fucking does such a great job. He
shows off such range in this.
I know. There's moments in this series where you can just tell by his posture where he will shift between Mark and Steven, and it's all body language, and he nails it. You just tell how, by the way he holds himself, which one you're looking at. It's like so goddamn good.
Like if he's kind of walking like a little inward steps and timid, that's Steven. But if he's like back straight, head up, oh, that's Mark.
Well, there's this point where he's talking, like he's in his mind, and he's talking to Arthur, psychiatrist Arthur. And there's this point where it's Steven talking, and there's this point where he just leans forward. And before he even says anything, I just see him lean forward. I'm like, oh, this is Mark now. And yeah, it was Mark. He does a great job. The finale was, like I said, it's not my favorite of the 6 episodes. Pretty fucking good, though. I was disappointed we didn't get to see the final, like, how he actually beat up Arthur, but I assume we're gonna see more of that later.
Did you see the end credits scene?
That's a twist. Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that explains a fair bit, because right when it seems like he's about ready to get like defeated, all of a sudden he blinks out and he's won. Yeah. And then he switches to Steven. He's like, Steven, was that you? And Steven pops up. He's like, no. No. But, that brings us to the end credit scene where, we get to meet Jake, who is apparently Spanish and seems like a goddamn psychopath.
Yeah, like a fucking sociopath. And it's like, of course his name is Jake.
And, it does seem like he definitely, Jake has held on to Khonshu.
Yeah, so... he killed Arthur. He fucking killed the shit out of him.
Yeah, Arthur is, Mark and Steven decide we're not going to kill Arthur. He's not worth it. And then Jake is just, no, he's dead.
No, Khonshu makes it. It's like, okay, well, if you guys find him, I will free the 2 of you. Because I watched that last one again after watching the end credits scene. And he did say the both of you are free. Good, but there's always moments where they're both blacking out. And I always kind of was thinking there's got to be another personality in there.
Well, I always assumed there got to be more. And I want to say it's the end of episode 4. There is that one coffin they walk by where you just hear like a pounding, but they never open that one. It's like, that's what we're leading up to with that.
Yep. It's funny. After that, I was just kind of like, we need to put Oscar Isaac in a mafia movie. Like, after watching him as Jake, like, he needs to be in a mafia movie now.
Oh, for sure. Oscar Isaac is just so goddamn good in this. I'm excited to see where they take the story.
I am too.
Great first season.
I'm excited.
Fantastic.
I'm super stoked to see if they're gonna bring him in on any movies or anything.
I know. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure where he'd fit, but I'm up for more. Yeah. Period. Whatever form it comes in. I really enjoyed this character. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Is it what I call it? That's the thing for me. Like, I watch this and it easily has 2 of my all-time favorite Marvel like in any series, 2 of my all-time favorite episodes. Would I call this my favorite first season better than Daredevil or Jessica Jones season 1? I'm not quite sure I'm there yet. But this is really fucking good.
I really enjoyed our rewatch of Daredevil. But out of the Disney Plus original line of like Marvel releases.
Well, if we're just dealing with Disney Plus, I think this is less competition. I think this might be my favorite. As much as I really like Loki and
I really enjoyed Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I enjoyed that one too. I won't consider it as one of the best. But I don't know. I've liked all these series so far.
I've liked all of them. Yeah, I have too. Loki I enjoyed, but like I don't know. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites. It was good.
Yeah, Loki.
I enjoyed Hawkeye a lot too because I enjoyed the parallel story that they were telling the whole time.
Yeah, Hawkeye was kind of a wild card for me because I really wasn't expecting much, and I really enjoyed that.
I'll admit I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, a Hawkeye series, oh, whatever. And then you watch it, it's like, oh, this is actually really fucking cool.
This is actually really funny. And then watching more of it, like, holy crap, Jeremy Renner can carry a lead. Like, he can carry it well. Oh my God, this is great.
Yeah.
I did love how annoyed he got with the cosplayers and the LARPers.
Yeah.
It's so fucking fun. But yeah, we do this, like, for fun. But I do it for real.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this one though, I did enjoy it. The writing, they're upping their game with the writing, and I dare say they're hitting Mandalorian levels and Book of Boba Fett levels.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I don't care. Community, come after me. I loved Book of Boba Fett. I thought it was great.
Oh yeah, we also didn't bring up how Layla does eventually agree to become Twaret's avatar.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Can we talk?
Those wings are fucking cool. Can we talk
about the giant god fight?
Oh God, yeah, there was the god fight between Khonshu and the bad one,
the gator.
Yeah. God, I can like visualize it, but I can't pronounce it. Like AMMUI.
Amelia, Amelo,
Emmet. Oh God, I'm terrible with names. Yeah. The alligator one and Khonshu fight.
Yeah.
Giant.
We're not going to try to butcher it more than we already have.
Kaiju ones. Yeah.
Like, it was like a giant kaiju fight, and I did love it.
Yes. It was fantastic. Yeah. Good goddamn series. Good movie. Good series. Good job, Disney, with their Marvel stuff.
Yeah, you guys are doing good. Don't fuck up Kenobi.
Yeah, God, yeah. Kenobi's coming up, isn't it? Yeah, I did fit that into the podcast. I don't know if you've noticed. I've been trying to tinker with the podcast schedule because there's so much coming out. It changes almost every time I look at it, man. Like, I go there to suggest. I go there to add suggestions, and then I see stuff has moved, and I go, I'm just gonna stop and not do that. No. Well, I'm hoping like after we get past summer, like space starts opening up in like July. Because I was thinking I want to talk about Boys and Stranger Things, and I think Stranger Things is just maybe we can squeeze season 1 in during the finale, but I don't know.
We could kind of talk about it as a whole, maybe. Like we could be casually watching it.
Maybe.
Because
maybe we just talk about the last season.
I really didn't like I didn't really care for the last season that much.
Well, I don't have any issue with any of the seasons, but I do feel like it's just getting redundant.
It is.
Like, we had a great season 1, and then I feel like we're just
pretty decent season 2 as well.
A bit redundant. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. I felt season 2 and 3 were around the same, but I just feel like we're kind of getting to the point where we're spinning our wheels on this.
Yeah.
I love the idea. Like, when they first released season 1, they were talking about, okay, every season is going to be its own story.
And that would have been cool.
And I thought that could be so much fun. But then they decide, oh, we love this cast so much, we're just going to keep on going with this. I'm like, oh.
Okay, you're going to Michael Myers yourself.
And, yeah. And there is some things they could have done. Like, I was thinking maybe what they could have done is maybe do a thing where, like, maybe the series just follows 11. And 11 goes to different places and stuff like that. Maybe 11 hunts down creatures from the Upside Down. And you could just follow the story like that.
Yeah,
that could be interesting, but it's all the same recurring cast, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And I mean,
all I know is this summer is packed.
Yeah, those kids aren't going to be that super young forever. Like they're already
they're
way they're all way noticeably older. Like they are.
No, I want to say they're at least 18.
Yeah, they're all totally not in middle school anymore.
Yeah, but yeah. Well, we have. Oh yes, next week we got Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is something we are definitely late to the party on, but it should be good. We got the original Top Gun and the original Jurassic Park. Hey.
Nostalgia verse.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, we got some classics coming up. Ooh.
That is an old...
Oh my God, you're giant! You're giant!
Oh my gosh!
I went to close. I went back to the opening screen. This is what I do for messing with OBS. I could have just sucked it up and left us on Moon Knight, but no.
All right, there we are.
But yeah, Yeah, I was able to squeeze Obi-Wan in there because they released that trailer for Obi-Wan. I'm like, fuck, we're going to have to talk about
that trailer.
And then I know Boys is coming out, and I'm like, fuck, we have to talk about that. And Thor's coming out, I'm like, fuck, we have to talk about that.
Oh, last weekend in June, I am going to be attending a local community festival here in Columbus. That is just like all 3 days free. I'm just going to be out enjoying live music, taking pictures. And I looked ahead for that weekend, and I was like, oh, cool. Everything I need to watch, I can totally stream. Excellent.
Yeah.
I was going to tell you, like,
oh, yeah.
I was looking ahead at that, and I was going, oh, awesome. That's super binge day Monday.
Yeah, the headliners for that, the big shows would be Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about the season finale of Obi-Wan. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, that does. And I could also share some of the photos that I took.
Nice. All right, but next week, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, Top Gun, Jurassic Park.
Yeah, okay.
Boom. And then in about a month, we get to Sense8. Jesus.
Yeah.
We will get to it. We will talk about the end of season 1, guys.
I've already went ahead and watched it and wrote my notes for it, because when I saw that, I was like, well, I better go ahead and do that and just write my notes now, and I'll rewatch it when we do it there.
It's fucking cool.
No, I kind of wanted to continue watching it when we last talked about it, because I'm just like, I want to know what else is going on. I want them all to get together.
Yeah. But next week we will have the greatest single episode of any podcast. Oh, yes. We continue with perfection. Oh yeah, and Lindsay's joining us next week as well.
All right.
I don't know if I told you.
No, you did.
But yes.
I think you did. Yeah, or I saw it on the notes.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get more guests.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying having. Is my head cut off in the video? Because I just see myself from the nose down.
No, I see your
like all head and everything. Okay. Because I don't know.
I don't see the very top of your head.
Well, the part of the window is like cutting me off right at my nose on the big window of it, not just my video feed. I could see my video in my window in the top corner. Like, I'm fine there. Just in the big one, it looks like my head's cut off.
No, you look fine in OBS. Okay. You want me? Actually, if you want, I'll go ahead and cut
off
your head right now.
Let me brace for it.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh my God. What have you done? Blood effect. But yes. Well, everyone, stay tuned. Take care. I want to go ahead and add some audio credits at the end here. The theme music you're hearing at the beginning and end of this podcast was written and performed by George Johnson, a very good friend of mine. And my current Patreons are Fel Martins, David Lara, and Lindsay Pankhurst. If you'd like to become a patron, go ahead and follow the link down below. Anything you can provide would be incredibly helpful to this channel. We're barely limping by right now. I'd love to make this my full-time job. I'm miles away from that right now. So any help you could provide, just $1 a month would be amazing. You know you want to. All your friends are doing it.